right, so this video is going to talk about cube roots. So hopefully last year you guys looked at what it means to cube a number. So we know that 3 squared means to multiply 3 by itself, which equals 9. But hopefully you also learned that 3 cubed means to multiply 3 by itself 3 times, which in this case would be 27. So last year you should have gone from 1 to 10, all of the cubes. So what I mean is 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. And you should have gone from 2 all the way to 10 cubed, which would be 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1,000. So when we cube a number, we multiply it by itself 3 times, which is the whole meaning of the exponent. So looking at cube roots are very similar to square roots, except we're looking for 3 of the number. So, for example, I'm going to show you that when we do the square root of, let's just say 24, and we break this down, so maybe 4 and 6, and then we know this will give us a pair of 2s right there. And if we broke down 6, it's not going to give us a pair of anything. So in the end, this one is going to be 2 root 6. All right, now a cube root, how you're going to identify a cube root is that it's going to look like that. So this is not a coefficient of 3. It is the cube root. So it's a smaller 3 that's right in the little corner of the radical sign. All right, so what's going to happen here is it tells us that in order to come out of the radical sign, we need to have not a pair of them, but 3 of them. So when we break down 24, we could say 6 and 4, and then we can break down 4 into 2 and 2, and 6 into 2 and 3. So what happens here is that the cube root of 24, we have 2, 2, 2, and 3. So in order to come out of the cube root, we need to have 3 of them. So here is a group of 3, so I can take out a 2. So in the end, my answer is 2, and then cube root of 3. So now you can see that this cube on the radical is actually pretty small. All right, so let's try some examples. So let's say that, hold on a second, move this a little bit. Sorry, I'm a little discombobulated here. So for example 1, so let's say we had, I don't know, how about 5 and then the cube root of 16. All right, so what we're going to do is break down 16 just like we would, which we could do 4 and 4, and then we can break that into 2s, and we can break that into 2s. So we end up with 5, and then 16 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So since I'm doing the cube root now, I need a group of 3. So I can bring out a 2 because this tells me that I had a group of 3 2s inside the radical sign. So now on the outside we have 10, but left inside we have the cube root of 2, and this one is so small on the video I don't think you can tell, but that's a 3. So that's going to be my solution right there. All right. So here's another one. How about, let's see, let's do, let me move this again. So for example 2, let's do, how How about 4 and then the cube root of 108? All right, so let's think about ways that we can break down 108. So most of you are probably thinking 9 and 12. And we can put 9 as 3 and 3, and we can put 12 as 3 and 4, and then 4 can become 2 and 2. So if we write it out, just so you can see what and how I'm canceling here. So we have 3, 3, 3, 2, and 2. So I have a group of 3s, so I can take that out. But I only have 2 2s, so I don't have enough to make a group of 3. So on the outside, we have 12, and then it's the cube root of 4. And that's going to be our answer. All right. Okay, next let's try an example with variables. So I'm going to go on, to the next page. So hopefully you can imagine what's going to happen when we have variables is we're just going to have to take them out in groups of 3. So this should be example 3. So let's say we have 2 and then the cube root of, how about 48x7y5. All right, so first thing I'm going to do, forgot my cube root. So first thing, let's break this down. So this could be 4 times 12. That would be 2 and 2. That would be 3 and 4, which would be 2 and 2. So for the numbers, so I'm going to ignore the variables for just a second. So I have 2 times 2 times 3 times 2 times 2. So that multiplies to be the 48. So I have a group of 3 2s, so I can bring that out. So it looks like outside I have 4. I'm going to leave a space for my variables. And then inside, I'm left with a 3 and a 2, and I don't have a group of 3, so that's going to be 6. All right, so now we're going to look at the variables. So remember, we have to take them out in groups of 3. So I'm going to look at 7. If I had 7, how many groups of 3 could I make? Hopefully you recognize that I could make 2 groups of 3 and I would have 1x left over. When I go to y to the 5th, how many groups of 3 could I make? Well, I could make 1 group of 3 and I would have 2 y's left over. So that is my solution. All right, if you need to go back and rewatch anything, please do. But again, we are just practicing with taking the cube root, simplifying cube roots, and the only difference between simplifying cube roots and simplifying square roots is that cube roots, you have to look for groups of 3 instead of just pairs of numbers. All right, good luck.